Once upon a time where we
smoke some trees,
act funny,
talk fairy tale history,
and try not to get drunk.
I am Jonny Houser, and as you can see, with me is the full team. To my right, we have Jimmy Bayne. How are we doing today, Jimmy?
Hello.
Awesome. And then to his right, we also have Denzale Whitehead, my other co-host and partner in this. How are you doing today, Denzale?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well,
right.
Other than if I leave that first part out. I don't know. And then this week for episode 4 of season 2, our guest, as you can probably see over here, is the very funny Seth Lee. He is a local comedian here from Grand Rapids and the defending and reigning Kingpin of Comedy for the Wyoming Kingpin of Comedy contest. So congratulations to you, Seth Lee. Just absolutely killing it. Yeah, wonderful.
The crowd.
Welcome, man.
Wild.
Great to have you.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. So, as I said, this is season 2, episode 4. Now, before we get started, actually, let me ask Seth, is there anything you'd like to promote? Anything you got coming up or anywhere people can go to check out
Roast
shows?
battle at the Metro
Okay.
in Grand Rapids, March 31st.
Okay, so the roast battle at the Metro in Grand Rapids, March 31st.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have that all off the screen there as well. So, thank you so much, people. And that's coming up. This will probably be airing right at the beginning of February, so that'll give people a couple months to go and check that out.
Yeah.
Now, is that something they got to get tickets for? Or
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
It is a ticketed event.
Cool.
Just check up...
we'll look
I
it
don't.
up.
Yeah,
We'll figure
appreciate
it out.
you. Yeah.
wherever they have to go to get the tickets,
Yeah.
we will make sure that
Just Google it.
Yeah,
It's
Absolutely.
not hard.
absolutely.
Don't make us Google this for you.
No,
We'll put links below.
We'll figure out and we'll put it up. So yeah, make sure you check that out at the information we put on the screen, and you can see Seth in the roast battle. So that should be a lot of fun. And then, this week we are going to be discussing a fairy tale that I wouldn't say is a real well-known one. It's not one that I recognized the title, and once reading through it, I didn't really recognize the story. But it is called The Fairies.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, it's a fairy tale. It's literally called The Fairies.
This should be our titular story.
Now, the thing about this tale is it actually has an alternative title as well. I'll get to that at the end because it would spoil one of the fairy tale trivia.
What is this, a Rocky and Bullwinkle episode?
Not really, but I'll tell you at the end because it would spoil the fairy tale trivia questions. It would kind of give it away. But it's known as The Fairies by its original author, which is Charles Perrault. So, Jimmy, we were talking about it earlier before we started. It is one of the Charles Perrault tales, which those of you that may have joined us for a previous episode would know that he is Mother Goose, effectively, because in his first collection that he released in 1697, at the tender young age of 69 in his retirement, he decided to go ahead and write. He wrote a few tales, and he also just added some tales based on folk tales that he knew growing up. Excuse me. Now, I believe this one was actually one of his originals, if I remember correctly. So this was from his collection of The Tales of Mother Goose, which was released in 1697. Again, Charles Perrault. And his title for it was The Fairies. And there is an alternate one, which, again, we'll get to at the end of it. I don't want to ruin the fairy tale trivia. So.
Is this adopted into any kind of movie or anything, or is this...
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
Not that I know. I don't believe there is one that I recall. No, I don't think there is one, actually. Unless you consider a fairy an animal.
I mean, most how many mythical characters are in it?
I don't want to ruin it, but I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I would say no talking animals because I don't consider a fairy an animal.
Well, let's
I guess it
let's
depends
get
on
into
what
it.
you've...
Right. Congratulations, Jimmy, a new record. We didn't even get into the story this time.
I'm just
Much
trying
less
to...
get through a sentence.
Now we have to figure out what John considers an animal. So
Not that I recall, but I've only read this like twice. So,
Yeah.
and I was stoned when I did it that time too. So, all right.
So-
You guys are ready? So this is The Fairies by Charles Perrault in 1697 in his collection of Tales of Mother Goose. Once upon a time, there was a widow who had 2 daughters. The elder was often mistaken for her mother, so like her was she, both in nature and in looks. Both of them were so disagreeable and arrogant that no one could live with them. That's the mother and the one daughter.
That's
So the dad just took off.
Don't even mention the dad. I don't want to ruin it for you, but yeah, dad's nothing. So what you've heard so far is all you're going to hear about a dad.
He's gone.
Yeah. Actually, I take that back. You're about to hear the only thing you're going to hear about her dad.
So we have this. So we have these two roommates. It's a lady and the mom that demands that she looks exactly like her daughter.
She has two daughters.
Right.
One that looks like her, and those two are apparently insufferable bitches. As it says, they're both so disagreeable and arrogant that no one could live with them.
Well, there's your animal right there.
Yeah. The younger other daughter, because again, it says right there, these are both her daughters. Okay. So the younger girl, who was a true likeness of her father, in the gentleness and sweetness of her disposition, was also one of the most beautiful girls imaginable. So that's all they ever mention about the father.
Wait, so all they talk about is the dad is like, oh, she's like her dad.
Yeah.
She's beautiful and sweet and kind, but he fucking left.
It doesn't say if he left.
Oh.
He might have died. You never know.
He's just not in the picture.
Right.
I think saying that they were insufferable right off the rip is like he had to get out of there.
The worst type of asshole.
Right.
I mean, that may have been, and but it doesn't, to my recollection, say anything else about it. So, at any rate, so the mother doted on the elder daughter, naturally enough, since she resembled her so closely, and she disliked the younger one just as intensely. She made her eat all her meals in the kitchen and work from morning till night. So yeah, she even though she's the ugly one, she still likes that one because it looks like her. Yeah, it just hates the other one.
I mean, you got to side with your people.
Yeah. And when I was first reading this, I felt like this kind of sounded a little Cinderella-y, out of the gate, but I promise you it's a little different. So, all right. So, yeah, so she made the younger daughter, she couldn't eat with him, and she had to do all the work day till night. So, one of the poor child's many duties was to... duty.
Child.
Yeah, child duty. So, one of the poor child's many duties was to go twice a day and
Yep, that tracks.
Yeah, that's a lot of duties. I mean,
that's
many.
They're eating a lot of fiber. $16.97. One of the poor child's many duties was to go twice.
Stop reading it.
I can't start a sentence halfway through it. I have to start the sentence where it is in the thing. So, all right. So, one of the child's many duties was to go twice a day and draw water from a spring a good half-mile away, bringing it back in a large pitcher. One day, when she was at the spring, an old woman came up and begged for a drink. "Why, certainly, good mother," said the beautiful girl. Rinsing the pitcher, she drew some water from the cleanest part of the spring and handed it to her, lifting up the pitcher so that she might drink more easily. So, she's going above and beyond.
She's actually pouring it into this woman's mouth.
Just put your mouth back open and, try to keep your throat.
Yeah, just open it up.
Try to relax your throat.
Eye contact.
Oops, I waterboarded you.
Eye contact. All right, so now this old woman was a fairy who had taken the form of a poor peasant woman to see just how far this girl's good nature would go.
Chug, 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 said the young girl. "You are so beautiful," she said, when she had finished drinking, "and so polite that I am determined to bestow a gift upon you. I grant you," the fairy continued, "and that will bring us to our first fairy tale trivia." All right, I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that.
Yeah, it always sounds louder each time.
Let's see if I did that correctly. All right, there we go. Look at that. How about it? Technology's awesome, isn't it? All right, so as you guys can see over my head here now, we have our first fairy tale trivia question. So as I mentioned, basically the daughter was very gracious, was very polite, helped the old lady out without expecting anything in return, and turns out the old lady's a fairy, so she's like, I'm going to reward you by granting you something. So we'll go to our guest first, Seth. Now, if you've never watched, we've explained before that we do award points, and we keep track of that, but winning gets you nothing. It's merely bragging rights, so don't put too much pressure on yourself.
We keep so much track of that, we even lose track of that.
Again, if there's anyone that has watched all the episodes and wants to track for us what the actual overall points are between Jimmy and Denzale, that'd be great. So, Seth,
we can't go back and listen to the same episodes because we sound too sexy.
We barely get through them once. All right, so first to you, Seth, the first fairy tale trivia question. What did the fairy grant to the young daughter? So what was the thing she gave her as a reward? Did she, A, turn her into a princess? Kind of like, I guess, Aladdin style or something? Or maybe like Cinderella style again. I hadn't thought about that. B, make one wish come true. So basically grant her one wish. C, does she offer to eliminate one of her family members? Or D, did she grant her the ability to spew flowers and jewels from her mouth?
Oh, boy.
I promise one of these is a correct answer.
Okay, I know that this is... I'm going with D.
All right, so you think it was...
Yeah, I got a reason, though. I think I got a reason.
Okay.
So the girl drank the water, right? Or the grandma drank the water.
Well, she's a fairy.
Right, but the grandma's a fairy?
Yeah.
Okay. So she did that, and she's like, oh, I want to see how far I can push this little girl to see how nice she is, right?
Oh, you think it's like a torment type of thing, not a reward.
No, she's going to go home, and all these jewels are going to fall out, and her mom's going to be able to exploit her.
Okay. All right. So you think it's careful what you wish for. This might be a curse, not a gift. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So you think it's D, she'd spew flowers and jewels from her mouth. All
That's
right.
my guess.
It's the kid that barfed the golden egg. It's
like that, right? All right, so Denzale, we'll go ahead around the table to you. What do you think it is?
I gotta feel like they'll probably come back and offer something else because like one of these, it's got to be like really close to either C or D, which seems ridiculous. But because he went with D, I'm gonna go with C because she's gonna be like, all right, you obviously don't like your mom and your sister.
So you think
I can probably get rid of one of them. Which one? Like you could choose. I mean, you can get rid of your mom, and then you just have to deal with your sister, and like you just move away.
So you think this might not be necessarily a benevolent fairy? She might just be like, "Look, your life is rough.
She
I'll
might be
eliminate one of them
benevolent,
for
but
you."
at the same time, like I don't know. Maybe she's just like, hey,
Which one would make your life easier?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's C, eliminate one of her family members? Hey, we've heard more fucked up things being granted from other fairy tales.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
my
not
guess.
that far out of left field. All right. And then lastly, Jimmy, what do you think it is?
I'd love for this to be a trick question, like it's B. She asks like for one wish, and she's like, "I want to spew flowers and jewels from my mouth."
That would be an interesting twist, and it wouldn't be above me to do something like that.
I would love it to be D, and I'd love it to be like unasked for and immediately like, "Oh, you are such a kind girl." just spitting
I reward
out,
you.
right? Just spitting out
would
like
anybody
Lucky
want
Charms
this?
and flowers and shit.
Lucky Charms.
Make it stop!
Blue moons, green clovers,
But
red diamonds.
She's got to get her hair pulled back.
the roses.
All right.
So like, no.
You gotta choose one.
But I'm gonna say A, turn her into a princess.
Make her a princess.
Although she's probably not creating land for her to rule
Never know.
over.
It might, like I said, it might be
Or
a
is she
Aladdin situation where she creates the whole kingdom
Is
like
she
a genie.
annexing some other land?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. So, all right. So, just to recap, our guest Seth said spew flowers and jewels from the mouth. Denzale said, Denzale said eliminate one of her family members like John Wick style. Like she gets a token, a blood oath from John Wick. Jimmy said turn her into a princess. I like it. So 3 different answers. All right.
So to find the answer, we will get back to the story. So the old woman is a fairy, and she says, you're so polite, I'm determined to bestow a gift upon you. I grant you," the fairy continued, "that with every word you speak, a flower or a precious stone shall fall from your mouth."
Man.
So yeah, Seth, you get the
These
point
fairies
of
are
fairy tale
not
trivia.
very good.
Yeah, no. and to Jimmy's point, it's worse than you can imagine. Like every word, just like can't say anything.
Like
It's
jewelry, like
okay.
a
Let me
diamond coming out of your
reiterate.
throat.
With every word you speak, a flower or a precious stone shall fall from your mouth. Now, don't worry,
Yeah.
they're going to elaborate. Yeah.
So like,
So she just sends her on his way.
no,
By
quick-
the way, at this point, just sends her on her way.
quick question. Does she like only spit out rubies for like a week once a month? Like,
Like they be doing.
So as I said, I will edit stuff out from time to time. So, yeah, things. All right. So anyway, she sends her on her way. So the young daughter goes home. When the beautiful girl arrived at home, her mother scolded her for staying so long at the spring. So yeah, she just got this wonderful gift. First thing she gets when she gets back is gets a hard time from this cranky
I
mother.
knew it.
Yeah, right. So she gives her a hard time for being there so long, and the young daughter responds, "I beg your pardon, mother," said the poor child, "for having taken so long." And as she spoke these words, 2 roses, 2 pearls, and 2 large diamonds fell from her mouth.
It's like a cat. Why do you bring all this home?
And why did you swallow it? You could have came back and got a bag or something. Why did you eat all of this?
Yeah.
How much is in there?
"What am I seeing?"
Do I
cried
need
her
to go to
mother.
the doctor right now?
Pretty much, that's the mother's response. "What am I seeing?" cried her mother. "I do believe that I saw pearls and diamonds dropping out of your mouth. What have you been doing, my daughter?" Yeah, like that's probably a legit question. Like, hold on. What
Yeah.
were you doing?
Because that's the most illogical thing. Somebody just starts vomiting jewels.
what is this story?
It's called The Fairies. And wait, like I said, the alternate title's awesome. I can't tell you that now. We'll get to the alternate title because, as I said, I think I said that earlier. It was
Right.
the fairy tale trivia. So, all right. So the mother's like, "What the hell have you been doing?" This was the first time she'd ever called her daughter, by the way. Apparently, they just threw that in there as a little anecdote.
Was that money? Hey,
Yeah.
sweetie.
Because even though she's like, "Oh, you're stupid and you swallowed all this stuff," like, well, maybe you're actually valuable now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so, like, you know, how much do you get down there?
Gonna
All right.
exploit her.
Yeah, right, exactly. And now she has value. And again, we've discussed this before. In a lot of these fairy tales, very few, if any, characters actually ever get a name. And if they ever do, it's usually only the most important character. Otherwise, they'll be the princess, the toad, the whatever, you know.
Sometimes
The
they
daughter.
sometimes they just name a piece of clothing that they're wearing.
Yeah,
You-
right.
Little Red Riding Hood.
yeah.
You know, the mom's next thought was like, "How much of this is coming out the other end?"
Get some fiber in you.
How far did you get?
Let me watch you poop.
It's like nothing but steaks and oatmeal for you, young
More
lady.
duties.
More duties. All right, so
Man, this poor girl.
yeah, you don't even know it yet. All right, so so the mom's like, "What the hell's going on, daughter?" So the poor child related what had happened, scattering countless diamonds as she spoke. "Indeed," cried her mother, "I must send my own daughter there. Come here, Fanchon." So apparently the other daughter has a name. So yeah, she's
And the worst name ever.
Fanchon.
Fanchon.
Yeah. Well, it's French, so maybe it's Fanchon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Fanchon.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
yeah,
Fanchon
yeah.
isn't even a name. Maybe that means something. I didn't do any
Maybe-
research. I don't
yeah.
know. But she says, "Come here, Fanchon."
I mean, you possibly could be pronouncing
Fanchon.
I don't know. I
Fanchon. Okay. Anyway, come here, Fanchon. Look what comes out of your sister's mouth whenever she
said it with that
speaks.
accent.
Is it? It is, or is it?
No. All right. All right. So anyway, come here, Fanchon. Look what comes out of your sister's mouth whenever she speaks. Wouldn't you like to be able to do the same thing? All you have to do is go to draw some water.
She's like, no, I don't want to do that.
She don't get a choice, I guess. All you have to do is go and draw some water at the spring, and when a poor woman asks you for a drink, give it to her very nicely. You want to see me go to the spring? Replied the ill-mannered girl. I am telling you that you are to go, replied the mother, and this very instant. Very sulkily, the girl went out, taking with her the best silver flask in the house. So, yeah, I guess she takes a flask to go get water. So, no sooner had she reached the spring than she saw a magnificently dressed lady who came out of the woods towards her and asked for a drink. This was the same fairy who had appeared to her sister, but she was now disguised as a princess in order to see how far this girl's bad manners would go. So, do you think I could have...
So there's just this fairy.
Yeah, thank you. Please tag in, because my brain just lost. Good instinct, Seth. Yeah.
Just hanging out in the woods. Just
testing people.
I'm gonna trick kids.
Yeah,
all day long.
Basic, and it says in these exact words, just to see how far they're willing to go. Like,
Wild.
yeah.
Wild.
Trick or treat.
Right?
Yeah, you're just like this bored, powerful entity just roaming the woods.
Right.
Right. Thirsty.
Yeah.
I could cure all illness,
Oh
or
my
I could
God.
just
So
like
thirsty.
play around giving these kids powers.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
there we
they
go.
can-
That's a little better. I feel like
Definitely,
mine
they
wasn't coming
can.
through very good.
So we know that they can just turn into people. So far,
fairy?
that's
Yeah,
that's
she can
what
make
their
herself
powers
basically
are. We
look
don't know.
like
We don't know what a real fairy even is,
Right.
Yeah.
other than
yeah.
what they look like as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
apparently.
like I
Okay.
mean, obviously you're thinking Tinkerbell, which would be like a mini person. But
Yeah,
like,
she can morph. She's very
Yeah.
much like Mystique, I guess. Apparently. So all right. So
It's AI.
this time she. So this time the fairy lady is not dressed as an old poor woman. She's dressed as like a princess, and so she wants to see if this other daughter is genuine. So she says to the daughter, "Do you think I have?" Or no, I'm sorry. She asked her for a daughter.
what? She was like, "Hey, how far you want to
there's
go?
no
I
me-
need another daughter."
Yeah, there's no men in this story. Can you knock me up?
I am fucking off the rails.
How
Oh
long
my
can you hold your breath?
God.
What's going on here, John?
Oh no! All right, so she's asked this daughter to get her some water. To which this other daughter replies, "Do you think I have come here just to get you a drink?" She said, the rude girl, very arrogantly. "Do you think I brought a silver flask here just to give madam a drink? Yes, that's just what I think. Have a drink if you must." So just all bitchy as hell, right?
This is like,
Indignant. So the fairy mother says to her, "Well, you are not very polite," replied the fairy, showing no anger. "Very well. In return for your lack of courtesy, I grant that for every word you speak, and that will lead us to our next fairy tale trivia." All right, so you guys might already know where I'm going with this one.
So this is where the bitchy daughter gets human centipeded.
yep.
I'm gonna
I wish I had that as one of the answers.
I'm
right.
gonna sew your lips to your own butthole. That's what.
No, unfortunately, that is. All right, let's make sure this comes up here. All right, there we go. So you guys can see that. So, Jimmy, we'll go ahead and start with you. Then we'll go the opposite direction this time. So just remember, Seth is currently ahead of the score of 1-0. So Jimmy, the fairy, in this case, to remind everybody, is going to bestow another quote-unquote gift on this bitchy daughter. So what spewed from Fanchon's mouth every time she spoke, thanks to the fairy? Was it A, vomit and bile, B, uncontrollable laughter, C, snakes and toads, or D, sticks and pebbles?
Huh.
So, Jimmy, you get to go first.
Well, last time my first instinct was to go for what I thought was going to be the funniest, and that's what turned out to be right. So,
All right.
I'm gonna go snakes and toads.
Snakes and toads? All right, so you think
Right.
it's C, snakes and toads?
Right, and
All right.
I'm hoping for some kind of Samuel Jackson reaction from the mom.
Goddamn snakes!
Out of my motherfucking daughter's mouth.
Well, that's like a bonus. That's
It's like, what do
that's
you
a-
want us to do about the
That's
toads?
a
We'll get them out
Samuel
too,
L.
but it didn't.
Will Smith.
Just
yeah.
no, but yeah, that'd be
All right, so-
hilarious. Just
Snakes and toads.
living reverse spaghetti every time. Just
All right. All right. So Denzale, we'll go next to you. What do you think spewed from Fanchon's mouth every time she spoke?
I actually think the same. I'm going C.
Snakes and toads?
I think everything else seems a bit aggressive. Sticks and pebbles, like maybe, but snakes and toads is probably, I would say, the funniest.
Okay. So also C, snakes and toads. Seth, what do you think?
I think C sounds like the best answer.
Oh,
but I'm going to go with D because I think it's like
It's the opposite
roses.
of the rose,
It's
Yeah,
kind of
all right,
the
roses,
opposite.
sticks,
But I
pebbles,
think
roses.
snakes and toads
Instead
is
of-
the best answer. Best
So instead
looking.
of flowers, it's sticks, and
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
like, that's
precious
what
gems,
I was
it's
thinking
pebbles.
that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and
so
every
which one
time-
are you saying? D?
I'm going to say D.
Okay, all right.
And
So
every time I would say, "Oh, you got a frog in your throat." I'd say it every time.
Then they'll be like, no, a snake, dick.
Oh,
all right.
hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my
let's-
snake puking daughter.
Let's go ahead and find the answer here. We will get back. So again, the fairy lady is going to bestow a quote-unquote gift on the indignant daughter. So in return for your lack of courtesy, I grant that for every word you speak, a snake or a toad shall drop out of your mouth.
Nice.
So
All right.
Jimmy and Denzale got that one. So that means we have a three-way tie now
All
with
right.
one question
Let's go.
left to go. So early drama starting here. So. All right, so this is definitely, I think, meant to be as a curse because she was very indignant, lack of courtesy,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then she got home and they were like, dinner?
Toad soup again. All right, so as soon as her mother saw her returning, she cried out, "Well, daughter." "Well, mother," replied the rude girl. As she spoke, 2 vipers and 2 toads fell from her mouth.
They didn't even go like the gardener snake or anything. They went straight viper.
That's right, like straight Indiana Jones.
What?
Yeah. "Heavens," cried the mother, "what do I see? Her sister is the cause of this. She will pay for it." So yeah, she immediately blames like the other sister for what happened to this daughter. Yeah. So off she ran to beat her, the younger daughter. But the poor child had ran off and escaped into the woods nearby. Excuse me. So the mother is just automatically blaming the other daughter because she hates everything she does. So she goes to give her a beating, and the child just runs off into the woods. So
Like they do.
yeah, as they do. I did that most. Okay, anyway. Sometimes I'll do that for editing purposes, just kind of rehash because I know I'm going to click back in. All right, so she's ran away from the beating, so she's off in the woods hiding, and the king's son, the prince, met her on his way home from hunting, and noticing how beautiful she was, he asked her what she was doing there all alone and why she was crying. "Alas, sir, my mother has driven me from home."
He doesn't talk to the ugly ones. He's like, she's hot. I'll talk to her. I see how beautiful she is.
Right. So then she answers him, and so of course we all know it's him. So as she spoke, the king's son saw 5 or 6 pearls and as many diamonds fall from her mouth.
Yo, Dad, this is the one.
It's like she can make her own pearl necklace. This is great. So he begged her to tell him how this came about, and she told him the whole story. So yeah, like she said one sentence, and he sees all these diamonds and pearls. So like it's the very next thing, he's like, "Why don't you go ahead and give me your entire biography? Use as many
Right.
words as you need."
Tell me about yourself.
If you
I got all day. I got nowhere to be.
if she sings "Make It Rain," does cash come out?
Oh my god! All right. So she does. She tells him the whole story. So obviously, just massive riches at this point they accumulate. So naturally, after this, the king's son fell in love with her. And naturally.
So he
It's the
fell
most
deep
natural
into
love.
Hot
greed
girl
with her.
that throws up money.
He fell deep in love with her money.
Awful.
And considering that such a gift as had been bestowed upon her was worth more than any dowry that he might receive from someone else, he took her to his father's royal palace where he married her.
Yeah.
And that's actually going to lead us to our third fairy tale trivia.
So the third fairy tale trivia is actually going to have to do with the other daughter. So we just found out that basically the young daughter, the nice dollar, the polite one, she gets the fairy tale ending, princess, rich kingdom, going to be even richer because every time she talks, the jewels and stuff. So now the other daughter, we're about to learn her fate because she was also cursed by the same fairy. So we're going to try to figure out what happened there. So we will go ahead and I'll give Denzale the opportunity to go first this time since you guys are all tied. What was the fate of the older daughter? Was she A, imprisoned for the rest of her life in her room by her mother, kind of like a Rapunzel situation or something? Did she B, die alone in the forest? Did she C, run away and was never heard from again? Which I get the inherent irony of that. Right.
Yeah. Just a quick wraparound.
Yeah.
That other one, she's dead.
Yeah.
In the woods.
She's dead. That's it.
The only thing that's known is that she went in the woods and died.
Not sure how.
Yeah.
Probably a snake.
Doesn't
or a frog.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
I love the irony of the C answer. She was ran away and was never heard from again. Like, snakes came out every time. Yeah. Shut up too. Or D, did she join a convent and take a vow of silence?
It's gotta be. Oh, is it me first, right?
Yes, Denzale, go first.
It's gotta be D, only because that seems like the only maybe she didn't turn her life around, but she
didn't have to worry about talking ever again.
Exactly.
It fit the lifestyle.
And
You're supposed to be quiet.
I could see.
And it already said at the beginning of this tale, nobody could stand to live with her. Maybe nuns are the only one. Right. All right. So you think it's D? She joined a convent and took a vow of silence. All right.
Yeah.
We'll go to our guest next, Seth.
I'm gonna go with A, imprisoned in room by mother.
Okay. So you think she just got Rapunzeled up in her room, locked away forever, and
in a room full of snakes and
if she decides to
But
talk,
she just keeps her in there.
Yeah, like, hey, you want
It's
to talk? Fine. You're just gonna fill
the
your room up with
psycho,
snakes.
like the Norman Bates
Norman
kind
Bates.
of thing.
All right. Okay. I got it.
At least
And
there's
again,
there's
just-
no mice.
I've noticed so far that it's always the worst thing that can happen.
Well, and I was going to say, kids have been locked away and in prison for far less, than spewing toads and vipers every
Trying to
time
eat
they
candy,
talk.
they'll put you in the oven. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, and last but not least, Jimmy, what do you think the fate of the older daughter was?
All right, honestly, as much as I would love for this to be, a nun with the best party trick ever.
You don't believe in Satan? Watch this.
I've been mocked by the devil. Look me in the eye, boy.
Ribbit. I think it is as cut and dry as she died alone in the forest.
Died in the forest?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. B and C are I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
So
well, I know Parat at this point.
Excuse me.
Yeah, this guy's itching to kill people off immediately and suddenly. She died.
So just to recap, Denzale said join the convent. D, our guest Seth said imprisoned by the mother, and Jimmy, you say she died alone in the forest. All right. Well, this is pivotal because we got 3 different answers. Only one of you, or possibly none of you, could be right. But you are all tied, so if one of you is right, then that will be the champion. So we will continue then. So as I said, we found out that the young, polite daughter got to have her fairy tale ending with the prince and happily ever after. As for the other not polite daughter, as for her sister, she made herself so hateful that her own mother drove her out of the house. No one would take in the miserable girl, so at last she went into a corner of the woods and died.
Damn.
So, Jimmy, you have won fairy tale trivia this time.
Just went and died.
Honestly, I can't think of any reason to take it away from him. So, I mean, he fair and square.
He earned that.
So, rather unprecedented. So,
Wonderful.
congratulations, sir. So, that is actually the end of the tale. But if you guys remember, something that's unique to the Charles Perrault tales is that he actually includes a moral and oftentimes another moral. So there's like a PS and a PSS. So he does that.
By the way,
Yeah, so that is the end of the tale. The one daughter becomes a princess. The other daughter gets kicked out and goes to a corner, crawls into a corner of the woods and dies. So according to Charles Perrault in 1697, and this is important because we're going to ask you guys what you think the moral of the story is. This is what he says. The moral: diamonds and gold coins may work some wonders in their way, but a gentle word is worth more than all the gems on earth. And then another moral: though, when otherwise inclined, it's a trouble to be kind, often it will bring you good when you least believed it could. All right. So that was according to Charles Perrault. Now, this was called The Fairies, as I said, according to him. But the alternate title, which was kind of the English version, because the French version, it translates to The Fairies. If you were to look this up in an English book of the classic Fairy Goose, Fairy Goose.
Talking for a living here.
If you were to look this up in a classic collection of the Mother Goose fairy tales, you would not see probably something listed. If that was in English, you wouldn't see anything listed as the fairies. This is actually listed as the title is Diamonds and Toads.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, this is what would be listed in there. Diamonds and Toads, but also known as the Fairies, Charles Perrault, 1697. So all right, that was the tale of the fairies as far as the French version, but in the English version, Diamonds and Toads.
Diamonds and Toads.
Yeah, so as I said, Charles Perrault kind of gave his own suggested moral, I guess you could say, but we often leave that open to our own interpretations. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this tale, I certainly had never really heard this one before under either title. It didn't sound familiar to me, and after reading it, hadn't heard it, so I think we're all kind of on the same page. So we'll go to our guest first. Seth, what, after hearing that tale, regardless of what maybe Charles Perrault suggested the moral was, what did you kind of take away? What was this? If imagine 1697, you're telling this to a child, what do you want them to walk away thinking? Well, I learned not to do this or to do this.
Whoa. Well, I guess I'd take away that if you're a strong, independent woman and you can still spit up money, you still need a Prince Charming to...
Okay, I mean, that did seem to... that's a fair point, because even the quote-unquote hero that could spew... like fortune from her mouth for her to have a happy ending.
She
still had to find a
built an
prince.
empire.
I mean, obviously she needs protection because, like, right now she is like the most like coveted thing on the fucking planet.
I mean, I suppose, yeah.
She could afford it.
But
Yeah.
I
She'd be
think
a
that's
boss.
fair to say.
She could run it herself.
Yeah,
Right.
like
I fair in 1697. I don't think that was. I mean, that
Probably not.
that probably was part of this. Like, yeah, you need a man.
yeah,
You know?
until you really get some like backing behind you. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Like you just start spewing shit out of your mouth.
Yeah, now, but again, in 1697 France,
I mean,
they
yeah.
probably weren't that enlightened.
Yeah.
Like you said, the prince immediately married her.
Yeah,
and like,
because she could provide the. Well, he was attracted to her physically. He said she was
Yeah.
beautiful, but once he realized the dowry, it pointed out that hey,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any better than this.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, you see, in a situation like that, you need to worry about inflation. Both.
Hey, we'll get to fuck, marry, kill later. You can use
No,
it to justify
both
that.
your kingdoms, both your kingdoms, economics.
All right, just to
and-
remind
and
everybody, we
your
do have a
wife.
mute button, and
That
all
was-
right.
and that was my
So,
bad.
there goes Jimmy.
I think I derailed.
Isn't that nice, Seth? How we can just you don't even hear him anymore? It's amazing,
I
right?
derailed Seth's answer.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
Yeah,
I
no.
jumped in.
Go ahead, continue,
but
Seth. So
yeah.
you were saying, so you think it was basically telling little girls, no matter what, you're still going to need a husband?
That's just what it seems like fairy tales kind of did back in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one, yeah.
I was just being funny.
Oh, that's.
But yeah,
How
I mean,
dare you,
obviously,
sir.
you got to be nice to people, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
fairies are going to come molest you down at the water hole.
Like you're getting molested either way, but if you're polite about it, at least you
Yeah,
get to
exactly.
spew diamonds for the rest
She
of your
handled
life.
that really well.
It's like an NDA.
I feel like the Catholic Church took that lesson and ran with it.
Wow.
In
Yeah.
this situation, just pour the water down her mouth. It's okay.
Yeah. Do it slowly.
You're gonna have to just deal with it because if not, you're gonna
No,
have
you're not a good
fucking toads flying out of your mouth.
All right, so it sounds
Where's
good.
the dad?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, as I said, they
never said
never
anything
ever. Yeah,
We
yeah.
need father figures.
Right, yeah. Yeah, maybe that was the lesson too. Without a good
Yeah,
father figure, you're gonna be
yeah,
barfing up
man.
toads and diamonds for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Maybe the mom killed him.
Yeah, right. She might have. She sounded.
Ooh,
she sounded a little bit
yeah.
crazy that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was probably out getting water one day, and then someone came up and asked him, if they could get a drink. And then he got caught up in some kind of weird ass monkey paw situation where he got a super bitchy wife.
Backfired on him. right, so good job. Thank you for your thoughts there. Denzale, what do you think the moral was after hearing it?
It's hard not to go with the obvious, like don't be shitty, but
Yeah.
or
Or at the very least, be polite.
be polite, like help. Yeah, you want to help little old ladies, and like if they can't drink, and like you would help her. Any human being, I don't know. If you're a shitty individual, you should have frogs and snakes and shit. The fuck's the matter with you? Help this woman,
Right.
And
Did you say fart, frogs, and snakes?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but like I don't know. I honestly, I'm still just confused about like what happened to Dad, and they said nothing about it.
Yeah.
So like maybe So moral of the story, don't care about it. I'm just about the dad. Maybe he like died, and that's why the mom was really shitty. Because the mom and the older brother or older sister knew the dad more, and I don't know. I'm just more about that than moral of the story, because we know the moral of the story. Listen, it's pretty cut and dry.
I mean, it could be, but
Yeah, when you have
never
shit
know.
flying out of your mouth that's like gold and
certainly
diamonds
part of
and
it should-
flowers,
I think,
things go well for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Part of it, obviously,
Thanks.
be polite. You get slightly better.
I learned nothing here.
All right, well, and that's also fair as well. Sometimes that happens. Jimmy, how about yourself?
You think the dad died during childbirth?
No, during
No, he died. He died during conception. That was a definitely Basic Instinct situation. They were twins, and he died during conception.
All right, so I think the moral of the story is be generous. Like if someone asks you for a drink, you give them a beer bong.
Yes, pour it down their throat slowly and cautiously,
Exactly.
respectfully.
Right. You see a little old lady that needs to cross the street, you take her out to lunch. Let me chew that for you. Like go above and beyond.
Absolutely.
And you know
Baby
what?
bird 'em.
Exactly. And maybe that old lady will curse you with some kind of like awful like mouth thing. What kind of body horror is
Mouth
that? Like
spew,
if you talk in your sleep and you end up choking on a fucking emerald or something. The hell is that?
Fair enough. Well, I'm actually gonna make a slightly different. My moral of the story. I think there was a certain aspect, like you guys all said. It seems obvious that to some degree it should be a polite, good person, and good things will come to you. But I actually think it was different than that, because there was a point in the story, if you remember, where the mother, once she found out that the daughter had been rewarded for being polite, she set her other daughter back. Was like, "Hey, you see this old lady? She's a fairy." And the fairy intentionally looked different to say, "Look, I want to see if she's just trying to be polite, or if she's doing it because she thinks she's gonna get a reward." So I don't even think it was just as general as try to be polite. It's like, look, try to be polite, especially when you don't know that you're going to get a reward.
Right.
Once you're doing it solely because you think you're getting a reward, you've missed the entire message.
Yeah.
You fucked up, and you're going to spew vipers and toads for the rest of your life. So, I don't know, that was
As you do.
As you do, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, but again, everyone's entitled to their own moral. That's why we do that. So, and I think none of us really fully agreed with Perot either. He said some weird shit. So. All right, so that was thank you guys for moral of the story. So, lastly, here we're going to play a game which is my favorite part. So, if you've never seen or heard any of our episodes before, we like to play Fuck, Marry, Kill. Just to let you guys know the three characters that we'll be using for this game. Jimmy's going to explain it in a moment. But the three characters we're going to be using for Fuck, Marry, Kill in this episode are the mother and then the two daughters. So the mother, the bitchy daughter, and the polite daughter. So, yeah. So, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and explain real quick. If nobody's seen or heard one of our episodes, has never played Fuck, Marry, Kill, just explain real quick what the basics of the game are.
How is this the first time you're being introduced to this far into?
Yeah.
So, in the game Fuck, Marry, Kill, we take the three characters given and we explain why we are going to fuck one of them. This could be a one-night stand. This could be a side piece you keep for your other one, which is marry. This has to be a long-lasting relationship. You are not allowed to kill yourself. And then there is kill, someone that you just completely take out of the murder. Right. So bonus points if you can tell us exactly how you're going to murder them. Yeah.
We're not really. I mean, we don't assign it. We love to hear why. Yeah,
Right.
It's more fun that way. So we're not assigning any points to this. This is not a competition in any way.
Hey, I have all the points here.
Yes,
I think I
absolutely.
can do with them as I please.
I have the mute button, so I can do with that one as I please as well. So didn't hit it. I just threatened it. So, but wonderful job explaining fuck, marry, kill. We do thank you, Jimmy, for that. So, as always, I give my guests the option if you would like to go first. Some people like to hear a few examples before they go.
I think I'm ready.
All right.
I think I'm ready.
So, Seth, I love the enthusiasm. So, just as a reminder, the three characters are the mother, the not polite daughter that's apparently ugly, and the very beautiful and very polite daughter. So, fuck, marry, kill. How are you going to do it, Seth Lee?
All right, the mother I am going to fuck
Okay.
because she is the only one I know that is of age.
Oh, see, now that's important
fair.
because now, they didn't say the age in this fairy tale, although there have been some. For example, our very first episode ever with a very funny Kate Carmody, you should check it out. Season 1, episode 1. Little Mermaid, they explicitly said, Hans Christian Andersen explicitly said she was only 15. So in this case, though, it doesn't list an age. We generally, if they don't list an age, we assume they are of age for fucking, but I appreciate the fact your safety in it there. All right.
Mary, I'm going to go with the. Okay, so now I have a question.
So now you have a child bride.
Right? Yeah. Either way.
Way to go.
Yeah, less
Okay.
creepy, I think.
So now do I have. When I get married, are they married in our time or do I have to go back to medieval time?
That's really kind of up to you.
Okay, so I'm picturing it that they would come to our time.
Okay, so you're bringing this medieval-ish 1697 wife to
Right,
2023.
absolutely
okay.
right. And I'm
Okay.
going to
Hey,
marry.
honey, check it out.
Fire.
So
Dynamite.
I'm going to marry the frog and toad, or the
So
snake girl.
The impolite, ugly one.
Right, because I think in this political atmosphere, she would do great.
As a wife?
No, as
No,
like
just-
a TV analyst.
Oh, okay. So you're
Like,
going
she
to
could
put her on
probably
Fox
DC
News and just get
frickin',
millions of
absolutely.
Newsmax or some
Right.
shit. All right.
And then, I'm sorry, but I got to kill the really nice girl.
The beautiful one
Right,
that
because I
spits
think
diamonds.
no matter who finds her, they're going to exploit her.
Yeah, that's true.
You're putting her out
And
of her
so
misery.
it's kind of a mercy
That's true.
killing, and I would
Yeah.
do it, and I would do it the most humane way I could. I would put her in my car in the garage and turn my car on and just put Freebird on repeat. 'Cause she would have no.
She'd
Like,
know
this
what
would,
to
she was
sing.
would blow her mind, and she would have no idea.
Yeah.
And she would get to hear the greatest song ever created.
And she'd probably then sing and
fall
suffocate
asleep.
herself
Yeah,
to death in
right.
pearls.
Yeah.
Because how can you not sing along to Freebird?
Well, she'd probably cough up a bunch.
Just actually, you could just roll up all the windows. It's like, diamond monoxide poisoning or something. You like that? All right, wonderful. So, yeah, I like it. Good job, Seth. So, all right, we'll go ahead and just go around the table. You're next up, Denzale. How are you going to fuck, marry, kill?
Yeah, I'm going a little bit different than that. I'm assuming that the all the girls are of age.
We can let's play that universe, sure.
Of age.
Yeah.
So I'm marrying the one that spits diamonds and gold. Like,
Okay. So you're marrying the pretty diamond spitter?
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. I'm sorry, but look, you're pretty, you're nice, and
And you spit diamonds and roses.
I'm gonna keep this one simple.
Yeah.
I'm probably I'm murdering the older sister because she's at this point useless.
She's already
you
dead.
can't fuck her with like snakes and shit coming out of her mouth. Like,
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's not that's not gonna
Well,
happen.
you couldn't,
okay,
I
fine.
can fuck a woman without her making any noise, but you can't.
Yeah, but like I don't want to be having sex with someone and then
Wait a minute. They say things during sex? When did that start?
They might not say it to you.
I'm just saying.
But like
They're not saying.
Yeah, no, they
But I don't
talk
wanna
all the
get
time.
bit
They're
by
like,
a
don't worry,
viper."
it happens to all guys.
Yeah. And like mid climax, getting bit by a viper is not the way I want to go. So
I get it. Or even a toad showing up would be a little disheartening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
pretty
A toad on my
anime
toe.
sounding.
I don't
Anime sounding
Yeah,
like
it's
right
like-
at
yeah.
right at orgasm, a viper just shoots out.
I don't like it when the dog's watching us. So, like, imagine just having like a little toad pop up. Just-
Oh, and you'd never get rid of that sound.
Peek out.
Ever. You'd never
Right.
sleep. There'd be like one stuck in the wall somewhere. Just
morning breath smells like a swamp.
Yeah, nah. Can't
Swamp
do
ass and swamp mouth.
it. Can't do it. And then obviously, we're fucking moms because she's the only one at this point that I know has any experience. And
Okay. She has a
you
couple
know,
of daughters.
At some point, she might have been nice. So, like, you know, and she has one beautiful daughter. So, like, she also probably isn't too bad looking either. So,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like that works out.
Okay. And then, and you already said you were killing.
Killing the
viper
fucking
one. Okay.
vipers.
All right.
Yeah, get out of here. You're
Get outta
useless
there.
at this
Yeah.
point.
All right.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. OnlyFans.
There's got to be a
Like,
circus in
that.
this reality, right?
No, like, I mean, but like, why go through the work of creating an OnlyFans when you have someone who just spews gold
Yeah.
out of
Just,
their mouth?
just sell it or Marvel or DC. They'll put her
Yeah.
in a Suicide Squad movie or
Yeah.
something. All right. Well, good job, Denzel. Love it. And Jimmy, how are you? I'll go last. So, how are you going to fuck, marry, kill here?
I'm gonna do it in order.
Okay. So you're fucking
I'm
first.
fucking the mom
Okay.
because I'm gonna be marrying one of the daughters, and I want to always have that over their head if we're ever arguing. Like, well, hey, you need to sweep the living room. I'd be like, I fucked your mom.
You're just like your mother.
Remember?
Just like her.
I'm
She's
gonna
full of toes too.
I'm gonna marry the nice one.
So the
Absolutely.
diamond spitting, good looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have to have a job.
Okay.
It would open up a lot of, time for hobbies. That'd be great. And I think it would be super easy to kill the one that has the swamp breath because,
Oh yeah. That.
right? Because you could just make things kind of hard for her, and she would just go out into the woods and die.
Yeah. Apparently
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
yeah. Just
You wouldn't
threaten
even
to
have to
beat
kill
her.
her.
She's out of there. That's
Exactly.
true. Yeah. She could take care of herself. Okay. Fair enough. All right, so I'll go last on this one. This is one of my favorites. So, all right, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to necessarily do it in the FMK order. First of all, I'm going to marry the ugly viper toad daughter.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I'm going to marry her because if you're going to marry someone, that's the only situation I can think of where I'd have an excuse for her never to talk and not be an asshole.
I
You know what
thought
I
you
mean?
would.
Like,
No, but like-
we said you keep your mouth shut,
But
or
that's
else you
the
got
problem
like
because
that's
once
the
you start
deal.
pissing her off and she starts spewing vipers at you.
Well, then divorce, baby.
Or death.
Yeah,
Like,
whatever. Yeah, I mean,
there's
a
that.
viper, you get this in a room with a viper, but no,
You
know.
want someone that
Right.
has experience with a snake in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, just yeah. Plus, at the same time, yeah, like I could kind of use that to my advantage too. Be like, hey, why don't you come over for dinner? And be like, I'm going to step outside for a second. My wife's going to talk to you for a while. See ya.
Jesus.
Right. And then, so I'm marrying the Viper Queen, and then I'm going to kill. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to kill the mother just because she sounded like she needed to die. She was cunty, and it just she deserves to die. She did that. She threatened to beat one daughter. She chased the other one out of the house and let her die in the woods. She tried to pull one over on the ferry. She's the only one that didn't technically learn a lesson, as far as I could tell. So yeah, she gets to fucking die. And then lastly, I am going to keep and fuck the younger, more beautiful diamond spitting one because first of all, she's the most beautiful one, so that's a pretty good fuck buddy to have. Secondly, I'm just going to keep her to Seth's question. I'm going to fuck her in her universe. So she's going to be at this point the princess and someday the queen. So having the princess and future queen as a fuck buddy is never a bad thing either. It gives you a direct door to power. No
What
pun
would the
intended.
prince think?
Fuck him, who cares?
Yeah. Until you get caught, it's off
No,
your head.
that's right. I got a wife that can just spit, vipers the day
Yeah,
they
that
come to
doesn't
collect me.
stop an army.
I bet you it will. I'll I'll get her talking about Sex in the City or something.
Yeah, no,
and
that
it'll just
doesn't-
decimate an entire
That
fucking
doesn't
regiment.
stop them from wanting to kill you. Like, oh yeah, you know the guy that's fucking the princess? Like his wife spits frogs.
Yeah.
Like, well,
And
this whole
you
family's
probably
gotta
would.
go. We gotta take
Yeah.
them.
You
The
let me live
whole
in my
thing.
reality. So anyway, yeah, I end up keeping her as my fuck buddy. And also at the same time, like, yeah, during sex, anytime, not only am I getting to have the hottest one as a fuck buddy, but anytime that I'm fucking her, she's going to be screaming something and be like, oh, just leave those while you're there. And I got enough, to live on for a while. And I'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
This is your fantasy.
It is.
You are the man.
I am. I mean, she won't be able to stop talking. All right. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, thank you guys so much for playing Fuck, Marry, Kill. That was a lot of fun. So that was our tale for this episode. Again, Season 2, Episode 4. That was The Fairies by Charles Perrault, written in 1697. That was part of his Tales of Mother Goose. So thank you guys again so much. Seth Lee was our guest this episode. He is a local Grand Rapids comedian. Again, he'll be at the Roast Battle at the, what was it?
Metro.
The Metro on March 31st.
That is correct.
All right, so we'll have all where you can go to get tickets for that event coming up here in a couple months' time by the airing of this episode. So again, thank you so much, Seth, for
you.
being a part of this. Now, as we didn't mention it yet, but as you can see, Denzale is wearing one of our wonderful Blunts Upon a Time hoodies there. So you can go to bluntsuponatime.com, which again, you'll see, probably already see on the screen, but you'll see it again here. You can order any of our merch. You can also find all of our episodes going all the way back to Season 1 for all the audio formats. And then you can find our links to YouTube for all of the Season 2 episodes, including this one, which you may have gotten there this way as well. So make sure you check that out. So again, thank you, Denzale, so much for being a part of this as one of my co-hosts. Had a really good time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also thank you to Jimmy Bayne, my other co-host and good friend. It was a lot of fun this week.
The frog lady. The frog lady committed suicide.
Good.
Okay. Well, I can't think of any other reason to go ahead and end this. So, again, guys, make sure you check out Blunts Upon a
And
Time
that's a
for all
walk-off.
of our stuff. Yeah, we got Patreon, we got our YouTube, we got our audio. For all of the boys here, it's been a lot of fun. I've been Jonny Houser of Blunts Upon a Time. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great one.
Once upon a time where we
Smoke some trees.
Act funny.
Talk fairy tale history
and try not to get drunk.